What if I told you that most people with diabetes, even those who have been fighting for years, can actually lower their A1C below 5%? I'll show you the precise medical techniques that are supported by actual evidence, not just some internet rumors. By the end of this video, you will have a clear, step-by-step plan that addresses the underlying causes of high blood sugar rather than just its symptoms. I have helped thousands of patients get their A1C levels below 5.5%, and many of them have even reached the golden 5% target. I'm going to give you the full roadmap today, free of nonsense and false promises, just tried and true medical strategies that work. And I'll demonstrate why the majority of people fail, as well as how to steer clear of those typical errors. Let me begin with the most crucial fact. Your A1C represents your average blood sugar levels over a period of 2 to 3 months, reaching 5%. In order to achieve maximum metabolic health and good management, you need an average glucose level of 97 milligrams per deciliter. Here's what works right away. You need to follow the 311 guideline. 3 hours without eating. 2 meals, 3 hours before bed. Don't eat more than 2 meals a day, and prioritize changing one macronutrient at a time. Let me be clear about something most doctors won't tell you. Type 2 diabetes is essentially a dietary condition. The basic framework can lower your A1C by 0.5 to 1% in just 8 to 12 weeks. And that's just the beginning. An inflammatory disease, a toxic disease, or an environmental sickness. The solution is not more medication to force the glucose into already full cells. Rather, it is to stop overfilling the barrel in the first place. Here's a crucial realization for you. Your bum has too much glucose, and it is overflowing into your bloodstream like water spilling from an overfilled barrel. Carbohydrates are not necessary. There is no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. Your body needs necessary fatty acids from fats and essential amino acids from protein. Every carbohydrate you eat turns into glucose in your bloodstream. So when you eat 50 grams of, say, pure glucose, your blood sugar spikes 150 to 200 milligrams. If you eat 50 grams of white bread or white rice, your blood sugar spikes 120 to 180 milligrams per deciliter from this baseline. If you eat protein, such as chicken or fish, your blood sugar rises 0 to 15 milligrams. Now, I'm going to give you the first strategy. As you can see, this is not an option. Therefore, 0 for fish and 15 for chicken are likely to cause your blood sugar to rise between 0 to 5 milligrams per deciliter when you consume healthy fats like avocado or olive oil. According to this measured physiology, you should consume more foods that don't boost your blood sugar if it's high. 50% of your diet should consist of non-starchy vegetables such as broccoli, spinach, asparagus, and cauliflower, according to the 5% A1C plate technique. 30% high-quality protein like wild-caught fish, grass-fed meat, pastured eggs. These glucose bombs, which are all added sugars and sweetened beverages, are now totally eliminated by 20% healthy fats like avocados, olive oil, nuts, and seeds. White carbs, bread, rice, pasta, and potatoes. The second tactic will be meal timing and sequencing, because there is a power to the food order, and studies show that eating foods in the correct order can reduce post-meal glucose spikes by 30 to 40%. This includes processed foods, snacks, fruit juices, and most fruits, with the exception of small amounts of berries and, occasionally, apples. What do you do now? Put veggies first with olive oil and vinegar, followed by protein and fats, and then any carbohydrates. If you must have them, it's best to avoid them altogether. Here's a vinegar trick for you. Before meals, Mix 1 spoonful of apple cider vinegar with water. Acetic acid can decrease post-meal increases by up to 34% by slowing the absorption of glucose. For your A1C control, we will use intermittent fasting, which is not just folk medicine, but proven science. We will start with 16 to 8 hours of fasting and an 8-hour eating window. If you are not accustomed to fasting, you may start with 12 hours for a few weeks. Eventually, you will move on to 18 to 6 instead of 16 to 8, and occasionally even just 1 meal per day. If you are capable of doing so, your cells will become more insulin sensitive again, and your pancreas will have time to relax. The third strategy is exercise that really works, especially for older people. It can be challenging because of joint issues and aches and pains, but not all forms of exercise are made equal for blood sugar control, so age need not be a barrier. I'll give you some advice for seniors who are 60 years of age or older. Your body's largest glucose storage tank is your muscle. Here's how it works. Chair-based resistance is ideal for beginners. You are capable of performing sitting leg extensions. Chair push-ups are not too difficult. You can perform 10 to 15 repetitions. You can use some light weights to perform seated arm circles. For the intermediate level workout, we'll make some standing resistance that you'll perform, like wall push-ups, which are extremely easy and just require 15 to 20 repetitions 3 times a week for 15 to 20 minutes each. Squats, using body weight with a chair for assistance, you may perform 8 to 12 repetitions. You can perform 15 to 20 repetitions of standing calf raises and 10 to 15 repetitions of gentle dumbbell curls. Just 20 minutes of resistance training can lower blood sugar for up to 24 hours because your muscles will become glucose sponges, removing sugar from your bloodstream. For those who have access to pools, low-impact cardio like water walking is great for joints and effectively burns glucose. A recumbent bike is another option. For 20 to 30 minutes at a moderate pace, an elliptical is a low-impact activity that engages the entire body, which is fantastic. Swimming is also ideal for those who enjoy swimming or for those who prefer to watch. Just be sure to rinse your body of any chlorine, as this can cause issues. The protocol for the post-meal wall and for a control that is essentially non-negotiable. Every meal should be followed by a 15 to 20-minute walk. Make sure to eat before sunset so you have time to go outside. Even a slow walk of 2 to 3 miles per hour is effective. If necessary, you can use a cane or a walker. Movement is movement, regardless of how you do it, and this can reduce blood sugar spikes by 30 to 50%. Presently, I perform high-intensity interval training, but for seniors, we're going to alter that. Don't become anxious, so we're going to do 1 minute of quicker walking, and we're going to move down to 2 minutes of regular speed, and we'll repeat that 5 to 8 times, giving you a total of 15 to 20 minutes. Simply alter the pace and intensity, then return to your starting point. Currently, strategic supplementing is the 4th strategy. The first of 4 essential supplements for lowering A1C is berberine, which works similarly to natural metformin without having as many of its negative effects and can reduce A1C by 0.5 to 1%. Another is magnesium, particularly magnesium glycinate, which is needed for insulin action, and alpha lipoic acid, 300 to 600 milligrams per day, and is lacking in almost all diabetics. B1 vitamin thiamine, specifically benfotiamine, which is fat-soluble, prevents glucose from being stored as fat, lowers anxiety after carbohydrate consumption, and lowers the risk of complications from diabetes and high blood sugar. It also improves insulin sensitivity and protects against diabetic complications. You also need 4 to 700 milliliters of potassium per day for optimal glucose storage in your muscles and liver. Most Americans only get half of this amount, so eat avocados, spinach, and salmon. Since traditional medicine treats symptoms and functional medicine targets the underlying causes, this is what's important for A1C control. At last, we will concentrate on the functional medicine approach. Given that 70 to 80% of your immune system is located in your gut, did you know that there is a link between your gut and glucose that goes beyond what you eat? Prolonged inflammation is a sign of poor gut health. Insulin resistance is a result of persistent inflammation. For instance, fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, and kefir are beneficial for your gut because insulin resistance causes diabetes or makes diabetes worse. If you are unable to consume 50 billion CFUs per day, think about taking high-quality probiotics. If not, 100 billion is even better. Now, macronutrient testing, most diabetics, in my opinion, are lacking in some nutrients, such as vitamin D. I would advise aiming to maintain your vitamin D levels between 50 and 80 and consuming omega-3 fatty acid. Particularly after assessing your omega-3 index, you can reassess your chromium levels. Many people are lacking in these minerals, and they improve insulin sensitivity and zinc. Remember that zinc is necessary for the production of insulin, so we can address that with supplements like turquoise, 500 to 1,000 milligrams daily. We also discussed omega-3s, which are 2 to 3 grams daily, and the importance of green tea extract. Finally, don't forget about inflammatory foods. If you don't cut out inflammatory foods like processed foods and vegetable oils, you're in for trouble. When you visit an endocrinologist for diabetes, you're fortunate because they can also treat other hormonal imbalances like thyroid function as well. Growth hormone deficiency speeds up aging and glucose problems, and these will exacerbate insulin resistance and glucose metabolism. For these reasons, functional medicine doctors occasionally prescribe tests that insurance does not cover. But I believe it is in your best interest to pursue them in order to better understand your health and determine your next course of action. Because of the strong correlation between cortisol and glucose, optimizing stress and sleep involves more than just diet and exercise. Some people wake up with higher blood sugar because long-term stress keeps cortisol levels high, which boost blood sugar even when you're not eating. We're going to do some sleep quality checks as well, since even though they fasted all night, their blood sugar keeps rising, especially when they skip breakfast. 7 to 9 hours of good sleep is essential. You should set your room temperature to 68 degrees Fahrenheit or lower, whichever you prefer, but it must be cool, completely dark, and you should avoid using any screens 2 hours before bed. You should also avoid watching TV or the news, and you should think about taking 200 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate before bed to help you sleep better. Here are some advanced strategies for your continuous glucose monitoring. Even if you are not on insulin, a continuous glucose monitor, CGM, gives you real-time feedback. You will learn your personal glucose triggers and see immediate results from dietary changes. For those who have the dawn phenomenon, for example, if you wake up with high blood sugar, try eating a small protein snack before bed. If that is causing you to gain weight, you can eat right away after waking up with apple cider vinegar before your last meal the day before. You should also think about time-restricted eating with an earlier eating window. Since exogenous ketones provide an alternative fuel for your brain, lower glucose demand, and help you reach your A1C goal levels, some people now take ketone supplements if they are not on a ketogenic diet. However, let me be honest, achieving a 5% A1C takes dedication. You're essentially reversing years of metabolic damage. Here is what patients experience. You will have improved energy and less cravings in weeks 1 and 2. You will also noticeably lose weight and sleep better in the first month. In weeks 2 and 3, you will see a considerable decline in your A1C, perhaps near 2%. And by month 6 and beyond, your A1C will be between 5 and 6% with consistent energy. As you go, you can lower that A1C to 5%. If you want to create a strategy, I would suggest doing this week by week. Week 1, cut out all added sugars and sweetened beverages. Week 2, add the vinegar protocol and post-meal walks. Week 3, begin 16 to 8 weeks of intermittent fasting. Week 4, add 3 times a week of resistance training, beginning with chair exercises. Week 2, think about supplementation and functional medicine testing. Keep in mind that perfection isn't the goal. It's about planning and consistency. One poor meal won't stop you from moving forward, but one excellent meal won't save you either. First of all, we would like to express our gratitude to everyone who has followed us thus far. Since making these videos requires a lot of work and commitment, if you find the content entertaining, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment with your opinions on diabetes. Your assistance really aids in our development. Let's return to the video now. Your 5% A1C is your key to optimum health. It's more than simply a statistic. Maintain energy independence from the difficulties of diabetes, absence of diabetes drugs. And the question is not whether you can get a 5% A1C. The science is clear and the procedures are effective. Thousands of my patients are living proof. Are you prepared to dedicate yourself to the tactics that will inevitably lead to your demise?